Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. It's Theresa here. Today I'm going to create this layout for you working with the Clique Kits Summer Groove Kit. So I have one photo. This is a photo from my childhood, and then I wanted to share with you just some of the products in this kit. This kit features Jen Hadfield Flower Child and also Simple Stories Retro Summer. Those were the pattern papers, some foam titles, 2 packs of embellishments there, die cuts, an adorable collection of puffy stickers in flower shape, yay, a couple of little additional embellishments from places I don't know where. And then I also brought in those Pink Fresh Alphas and a stencil from Memento, that's from my stash, and then a couple of little ink cubes here to do a little background. And so I'm also using these ink blending tools. They are from Waffle Flower Crafts. I found those on Amazon, love them to death. I'm really excited about using those and getting a little bit more use out of my ink cubes and my stencils. So up first, what I'm going to do is start with this rainbow pattern paper. I love when a collection includes pattern papers like this. They're my favorites. And so I'm going to cut all the strips apart and then use the top and the bottom one to cut an additional strip from the pink, so that the original kind of idea for this pattern paper, I wanted to keep that intact, because that's some of the striking part of it that I really like. I love that it instantly creates a diagonal line for your layout, and so you can pretty much do anything you want on top of a background like this. That's why I love them so much. So once I have it laid out on my background there, I'm just using plain white cardstock. I think it's from Close to My Heart. And once I have that just kind of in place, I'm going to go ahead and distress these edges. If you notice, when I cut these strips, I cut them pretty rough. I wasn't worried about whether they were cut exactly or anything like that. And distressing those edges just lets you get away with that, quote unquote, because it will hide some of those rough cuts and also just give you a little bit of dimension on the page. The other thing that it's going to function for is to allow some of the background mixed media to show through that I'm going to do on the back of on the background cardstock. And so I want to just kind of lay these out on the page for their final spot. And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you can see the background come to life. I just started in the bottom left-hand corner, and I'm starting with pink because that's the color of the pattern paper that's going to be on top of this. And I chose to do this with ink blending tools because it will allow you to blend these colors in. So there's sort of what I'm hoping for is sort of graduated color or gradient color going up the background following the color on color. And so you'll see I'm going to do 3 layers of color on color. So there's the background here with the mixed media, and then the stripes color on color, and then I'll do the embellishments on top of that as well. And I love the depth of this. We're building on top of a good, you know, it's very interesting, dynamic background here. But I also am keeping it subtle because it's the background. And I love that about these ink blending tools. They let you build up the product as much as you want to. And I've left it pretty rough. Like if this were going to be a card or a major element of a major focal point of the layout, I would have taken more time to create more of a soft to dark kind of ink layering. But it's mostly going to be hidden underneath the strips of paper. So I kept it messy and dirty, quote unquote dirty, and it works out beautifully. I also did add in a green and brown. And one of the reasons I added in the brown is because my dress in the photo is brown. And there's also a great selection of green in the in these collections, and it just rounds out that kind of rainbow feel. It's not technically a rainbow, right? Because we've mostly got pink and yellow and orange in the pattern papers, but you can add whatever colors you like on your backgrounds. And so that lets you get to see how the background turned out, and now how those strips of pattern paper are going to go over top of that, how they're going to layer on top. I glued down that first one, but then I realized that I wanted to keep the corner piece intact. That yellow, that middle yellow stripe kind of creates the base for where everything else needs to go. And some of them are going to fall off the edges, and that's fine. Once I have them glued down, I'm going to pull those edges up just a little bit more too. You can be as aggressive with that as you want. You can tear some of those edges if you want. And having the messier mixed media background helps us all create this sort of time-worn look that would come with a photo from 1975. And I am gonna just turn this around here and let you see a couple of different options for the photo placement and how you could turn this any sort of way that suits your photo. And one thing that I recommend always paying attention to is which way does the photo point, and the photo here happens to point towards the left. So I feel like it kind of belongs in the right hand, on the right hand side of the layout, and at the bottom of the now created rainbow backdrop and rainbow strips. So let me tell you about the photo. This is, I'm pretty certain that this is my second birthday. And because I see 2 candles on the cake, I don't remember it. I don't know precisely where we are in the world. I think that we're in Springfield, Missouri somewhere. And so if it's my second birthday, then it's 1970. It's October 19, 1975. And there are a couple of stories, of course, and you always have to pick. I've talked about this before, I think, in my old classes, about how every photo has more than one story, and you have to pick, or you can tell all the stories. And one of the things that I know for certain about this photo is that I'm actually wearing my favorite dress, and it's a little brown dress. It has a little brown turtle on the front. I remember that dress, probably because of this photo. And so that's probably the story that I'm going to tell. And I really related, I really related to the Jen Hadfield Flower Child collection. Because growing up in the 70s, there's no way you can't help but feel like a flower child. So I'm going to use all these flowers, maybe not all of them, but a large majority of these flowers and the flower elements in this kit to round out the layout and embellish it. So what I'm doing first here is sort of organizing them by color, and that's a really fabulous way to divide up your embellishments and get started, especially with a layout like this where I have a very definitive color palette: pink, yellow, orange, green. Orange, well, not really green, but there's some of that in there. The leaves will carry that green through this layout. But mostly the pink, the yellow, and the orange, and the yellow leading somewhat into brown. And all of those colors are here in these die cuts, and also in the flower puffy stickers. So that's what I'm starting with here. And now I'm going to just build clusters along these strips of paper, and I feel like you can put embellishments anywhere on this page that you want. I mean, of course, there's no scrapbooking rules, but the design of the page is already well established. So you're free to play here, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. First, I really liked this little flower garland. So I already adhered the photo using foam strips, and then I also popped up that garland with pop dots. And then here's the first embellishment cluster, and using the yellow, I've got a sunshine, flowers, the little acrylic flowers that were included. Gosh, they're so cute. I'm going to do a little pink cluster down there in the bottom right-hand corner of the photo. A little orange cluster coming out of the top of the photo. And another pink cluster here at the top. And as I run short on die cuts, I start to overlap as well. So you'll see the yellows start to blend in with the orange in some of these embellishment clusters. And basically, I'm just having fun with it. And I love little layouts like this that let you just play with your embellishments. It's just, what can I find that has that color and add it to it, and not worried about any design rules, not worried about anything other than just having fun putting these embellishments down. I highly recommend that. And you know that you've hit that zone when you're no longer thinking about every placement. You're just picking something up that you like and putting it down without even thinking about how does this look? Does this work? Like, just don't even think about it. Let your intuition guide you and your style. One thing I do recommend, if that's just really overwhelming for you, I understand for some people that is. What I do in spread out embellishment clusters like this is sort of alternate. Start with the largest item and then work your way out. Go smaller, go a little bit bigger, and then smaller again, and use scale as your contrast. So big next to small, next to big, next to small. And sort of also, you'll notice how I didn't just put everything in a line going across the stripes. Some things are on one side to the other, just however it falls on the paper. I think it's really hard to explain. Honestly, even after doing videos for 8 years, it's kind of hard to explain embellishment clusters because a lot of it I'm not even thinking about. I don't know. And that's probably part of why I'm just small beans here. That's okay. But notice also how, and this is one of my favorite things about this kit, is there's such a variety of textures here, from the foam, the 12 by 12 foam sheet. Gosh, I love that. I've always loved having those as chipboard, but having it as foam is even better. They're a little bit easier to get out of the packaging. You can't peel the back off to make them thinner, but they're pretty manageable, I think. So that gives you one option for embellishments. There was a second pack of Simple Stories foam embellishments, titles. And speaking of titles, that's what I'm kind of working on here. I really love this pattern paper with the cut apart words on it, and that's just what it screams to me. Cut them apart in like a cloud shape or something like that, and that's what I'm going to do here. And this will be the title for the layout, and it just kind of follows the informal flower shapes that are also across this layout. And I think I'm going to lay that across the bottom of the photo, and then add some more flowers here underneath here. Tons of flowers on this layout. And I love every bit of it. So I did just chop that big old floral right in half, and that way one part of it can go under the side on the left, and the other part of it can go on the bottom, and they overlap with that corner. And then I also, because I had already put down that little floral garland, that needed a bit more items. So I've added that yellow butterfly and the hello. I had a lot of fun with the butterflies. I think I said in my last Clique Kits video how I'm on the butterfly kick right now. And that's okay. And it's awesome. And this kit also had these really cute little rainbows. Do you see them on my desk? I debated back and forth about whether to use those or not. Here you go, you can see. But that felt too cluttered. I don't know why. You know, again, trying to explain how I do my floral clusters is a bit of a challenge. And then I thought, well, you know, I've still got some more yellow embellishments, so let's keep going above this hello. Use up that little white flower, and it's on a yellow strip, so I'm gonna find a couple more yellow items. Look, I did get a rainbow in there. It's one of the foam rainbows. That's awesome. And another little butterfly. Here's where I brought in some more of that brown onto this layout, and bringing that, tying in that brown, that cute little brown dress. You guys, I love these little flower puffy stickers. I have always liked hearts and stars. You guys know I'm a fan of puffy stickers, but having them in flower shape is amazing. So definitely love to see that. And I'm almost done here. I did mention these Pink Fresh Studio alphabets. They're a little bit of the green. Remember how I used some of the green on the background mixed media? And so I'm going to repeat that here. Of course, the leaves also pick up this green from the embellishments. So I'm going to add, this is my main title, and it's just going to say Turning To. And I'm really bad at laying down alphabets vertically. So let me just adjust those and make that a little bit better. This also serves to put something in this little space up here, right in this strange little corner. I do love adding little things in between the strips of paper like this. So you could definitely do that as well. I hope you'll be able to create along with me today and play with some of these products. Couple of last things. I'm going to stamp a date here. I do not have a 1975 roller date stamp, but I did have one that had a blank space for the date. So that's perfect. Then I had to decide, like, where am I going to stamp it at? I wasn't really sure where it should go, but I followed the triangle method where the black is. So there's the black love, the black hello, and then I'll have the black stamping here forming a visual triangle. That works. I'm just going to write in the 1975 and then add a bit of journaling about that little brown dress with the turtle on it that was my favorite. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you back here again soon. I hope to see you in the Clique Kits Facebook group, where you'll see tons of other inspiration from our design team. And I'll see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.